Good morning, everyone. Today we will continue the chapter 6, that is combustion and flame. In this chapter, till now we have discussed about the combustion process, conditions required for combustion, types of combustion, how to control fire, and candle flame, the structure of the candle flame. These all topics we have covered in our previous classes. Now, in our today's class, we will discuss about the different types of fuel. So first of all, because we are classifying the fuel, so we must know the meaning of the fuel. So what is exactly the fuel? Fuel is nothing, that is only the combustible substance. Okay, the combustible substance which produces a very large amount of heat and light on burning, that particular substance is known as fuel. We are having lots of examples of fuel like coal, wood, petrol, diesel, kerosene, LPG, CNG, and so on. So various types of fuels are there. Now, if we want to classify the fuels, so we can classify the fuels on the basis of their physical state. Like we can classify them as solid fuels, liquid fuels, and gaseous fuels. So now let's have some examples of each of them. Solid fuels, wood, coal, charcoal, these are present in the solid state. Liquid fuels like petrol, diesel, kerosene, these all comes under the liquid fuel. Now gaseous fuel, that is CNG, that is compressed natural gas, LPG, that is liquefied petroleum gas, biogas, hydrogen gas. So these are the different types of fuels. After that, some fuels we can say this is a very good fuel. Like if we are talking about the LPG, so in the kitchen we are saying that LPG is much better than the wood. So, what are the different criteria on which we can compare the quality of the fuels? So, we are having some particular properties, some particular characteristics. So, here we are having the characteristics of a good fuel, or we can say ideal fuel. Okay, so first one is that should be readily available, easily available, and that should be cheap. Okay, it's not so costly that everyone cannot purchase it. So it should be readily available, it should be cheap, and it should be easy to store and transport. The next one is it burns at a moderate rate. That is a very important point. Moderate rate, that means if we are burning the fuel and we are getting a very small amount of energy, so that is almost we can say useless. Okay, wasting of time. And suppose it's burned violently, a very large amount of heat is produced in very few seconds. So again, it is not of any use. Okay, accident may occur. So that's why it is very compulsory, that very essential that the substance should burn at a moderate rate. Then produce a large amount of heat. That is also a very important point. This fuel, if we are burning the fuel and we are not getting the sufficient amount of heat, so again it is useless. So amount of heat should be large. After that, it should not leave any type of residual part after burning. Like if we burn wood, so afterwards we will have ash. So there is another problem to just cleaning that ash and uh, something like that. So that's why it should be very essential that the substance should not leave any type of residue after burning. And the most importantly, it should not cause any pollution. Air pollution should not be caused by that particular fuel. So that should be a clean fuel. Okay. Now, if we compare any two fuels with each other, so one criteria is there to compare the quality of the fuel, and that is calorific value. Okay, calorific value. Now, what is this value? This is the value which value of heat. This is the amount of heat which is produced by burning 1 kg of a fuel. If we burn 1 kg of any fuel, that may be wood, 1 kg of wood, or 1 kg of LPG, or 1 kg of diesel, hydrogen gas, anything. So the amount is fixed, that is 1 kg. So when we burn 1 kg of that particular fuel is there, burning process is there, then definitely heat will be produced. So what is the amount of heat that is produced by burning that 1 kg of the fuel? That is known as calorific value. Okay, now if we discuss about the SI unit of this calorific value, so that should be kilojoule per kg. Okay, this is the SI unit of calorific value. kg that is kilojoule per kg. Okay, but when we use this calorific value in general, so we are expressing that in the form of kilojoule per gram. Okay, this is the unit which we are using in general. SI unit is kilojoule per kg, but we generally express them in the form of kilojoule per gram. Now, why we are using per gram? Because just to find out the amount of energy by which we are getting by burning of 1 kg of the fuel, simply we are wasting 1 kg of the fuel, and most of the fuels are fossil fuels. So they requires a very large time. We have discussed that under the chapter coal and combustion. Millions and millions of years are uh, required for combustion of that for formation of fossil fuels. So that's why that is a very slow process. So just find out the value we are wasting 1 kg of fuel. So instead of that, if we take 1 gram of particular fuel and we burn it and we find out the value. So by burning 1 gram of fuel also we are getting a large amount of energy. So that's where that calorific value can also be expressed in the form of kilojoule per gram. Okay. So in generally we are using this value kilojoule per gram, but its SI unit is kilojoule per kilogram. So here in the table you can see the various calorific values for the different substances are given. Now if we again come back to the previous topic, that is characteristics of a good fuel or ideal fuel. So that's fuel, we can have one sentence that fuel must have the high calorific value. That means by burning a very small amount of that fuel, we must have the high amount of energy produced by that burning fuel. Okay. Similarly, we can add one more point, that is ignition temperature. We have discussed in the previous class, that is the temperature at which any substance catches fire. That is ignition temperature. So if the ignition temperature of the substance is very low, so that substance can start burning without anything, and that will be categorized as spontaneous combustion. So that substance must have ignition temperature above the room temperature, so that we have to provide some source by which that substance can catch fire. Okay, so ignition temperature should be moderate, we can say, or we can say that it is higher as the room temperature, and that ideal fuel must have the high calorific value. Then we were discussing about the cleaner fuel also. The substance, whatever fuel we are using, that should be a cleaner fuel. Why? Because any type of fuel we burn, so it will produce lots of problems to, related to the environment. Okay, we can have harmful effects on the environment just because of the burning fossil fuels. Now what are these different effects? Already we have discussed in the chapter coal and petroleum. Again we are revising that. Whenever we burn the fuel, so what these fuels releases a large amount of CO2, and that CO2 is responsible for global warming. After that, if we are having insufficient amount of oxygen, so it will undergo the incomplete combustion. Because of that, carbon monoxide gas will be formed, which is very poisonous and harmful. Okay, so that is another problem which is creating by the incomplete combustion. And next one, whenever we burn the fossil fuel, so the oxides of sulfur and nitrogen, they also releases in the atmosphere, which mix with the rainwater and forms acid rains. So these are the various harmful effects of burning fuels. So that's why we are saying that the fuel must be a cleaner fuel. So this is all about the chapter combustion and flame. Thank you.